Hi everybody, and welcome to this drawing tutorial where we are going to draw the lady in red. And what I did is I made a pre-study, and I totally made this up. So I did not use any reference photo, but what I want to draw is a straight lantern with a crooked tree, and you can see my charcoal sketch that I did just from heart. But I loved it so much that I wanted to make a tutorial out of it. So this is my setup sketch, and this is A4. The measurements are A4 and A4, and this is that bridge that has a little bit of a rounded flow to it. And this actually became a print on my Patreon page, and the complete drawing took me 2.5 hours, but this is also fully narrated on my Patreon page, so you can draw along one by one and use the print for setting up your drawing, because we have that lady there. And here you can see that lady Lijn, and the height of the lady in total, including that umbrella, is 11 centimeters in this case. And you can see it here, the umbrella is just in front of our lantern post. And as you can see, the horizon line, you actually would know where to put that umbrella. And if you want this drawing to be a success, it doesn't have to be all that, well, how do you call it, very detailed. But everything has to be in some kind of the right place. So here I'm starting with drawing the umbrella. And it is very smart to first draw in that lady, and then you can fit her surroundings. So it will make sense that she's walking towards that bridge. And if you would draw that lady in too big or too small, then your perspective would not be correct anymore. So that's why. Now here you can see where her foot is going to hit the pavement. And you can see the line. This would be her head. So then you would know where to put that high heel. She's wearing high heels. And the right leg. Now the left leg is just in front, so she is walking. So that one is just in front of the right leg. Now you do not have to put in too much detail, because it's going to be a very impressionistic drawing, but it has to be on the right place. She's also wearing a shawl around her shoulders, and the coat that she's wearing is kind of moving to the left because the wind is coming from the right side. It may be a kind of a foggy day, and there's a little bit of rain coming from the sky, and that is what I want to express. Also, you do not want the umbrella to be too big or too small, so take close notice of that too. And her hands are forward, so you can only see up until the elbows, and then her hands are holding that umbrella. Now, once you have the lady in the correct place, then it's time to draw in that walkover bridge. And here you can see the lantern just behind that, just behind the bridge and behind the umbrella. What you draw for a lantern can be all kinds of lanterns, but this is the place where I wanted it to be, and you can put in all kinds of ornaments, of course, but first you want to put in everything in the correct place. Now this is our disappearing point, and the lines of the bridge are in a slight bow, so it's not all that straight. It's going over the river onto the next bridge, I would imagine. And on the left side there will be some dark bushes, but I do not put too much detail into that. Then on the left side of the pillar there is shadow, of course. And here you can see the grassy side of the road. I also drew in a little bit of shadow already into our figure, our lady in red. And of course what I also want to do is, because it is a rainy night, I want to draw in a little bit of reflections. So there's a reflection light coming from that lantern pole, but also going downwards because the pavement is wet. So you get a kind of the reflection that you would have when you were drawing water. Now what is also a very, very nice detail is the contrast between the lantern pole and that that tree. The lantern pole is made by man, handmade, but the tree is a natural form. And I thought that was a very nice contrast because of the lady, which is a natural form too. Then we have the bridge and the lantern, which are mechanical, made by man. And then we have that tree again. The tree has a lot of shadow on the right side, in this case, because of the lantern pole, which is now left from the tree. So the shadow part on the lady is on the left, while the shadow part on the tree is on the right. Then there's another thing we have to get into the mind, and that is the far distance. Now normally I would start with a drawing in the far distance, but in this case, because we had to put in a figure and the tree and the lantern pole, I can easily draw in that city in the far distance in between the objects that we want to get focus on. But here on the right side I have a lot of space to get a city going on. So I simply draw in some huge buildings, but I also make sure that the buildings on the right side are higher than the ones going towards Our Lady. What you get then is a perspective line going towards Our Lady again. So that gives us extra attention onto that lady. Okay, what I did now is I've blurred in everything with the blender stick, and now it's time to put in a little bit of color. These are the colors that I've chosen, and a little bit of dark green for the underlayment of the red to get some shadow going on. But I first start out with a light gray. Now, as I was saying, I'm using a Canson pastel paper here. And the Canson pastel paper can absorb a lot of pigments. Also, the pigments in the charcoal and the pigments in the pastel work perfectly together. So if you was to do this drawing in graphite, then you will have to stick to the greasy kind of substance. So a graphite drawing would combine easily with colored pencils. But if you do the setup with the charcoal pencils, then you can take out your pastel pencils. and they blur together excellently. Now let's put in a little bit of red, because this drawing is called The Lady in Red, of course. And you can see that once you put in that red, she immediately pops off the paper. So now we have to be imaginative for how much red can we put in, or how much red do we need. And I'm not using only the red. I also use a little bit of light yellow and a little bit of standard yellow. And I'm simply start to blend in everything together. So here and there I use that light yellow, kind of like a blender stick. You can see it here also in the reflection. I want to give it that soft feel. Then you simply go over it with the light yellow. And here I put in a little bit of dark green for an underlayment for the red. If your figure starts to get a little bit of blurry because we work in it a lot, then you can always go back and draw the shape back in. So here I'm taking my charcoal pencil again, get that shape in, that it is correct again, and then I can go over that and draw the umbrella back in if I want. And that's the fun part of drawing with pastel paper. You can build up all kinds of layers. So that's actually it's just kind of like a journey. You are stirring around your pigments, and if you're not happy, you can do another layer over it. And you can also decide, as I'm doing here, how much red I want to put in. And here I think that the umbrella, well, that can just pop out of my drawing if I want. So another layer, and you could even change. You can also draw a lady in blue, of course, if you want. But I chose the red because of the gray surroundings. It's all very gray and it's nasty weather. And then there she is, our lady in red, and she's walking towards that bridge, and the whole drawing starts to tell a little story. And I just love that. I love to stir my pigments around, and here you can see that touch of red in her high heels, and here a little bit into that pavement. It's just a reflection of rain and the shine of the street that she's walking upon, and it's so much fun to do. Now here I took the natural charcoal, and to get out that light of that lantern, I'm simply drawing it in all dark on the right side. So again I get a diagonal that is pointing towards our lady in red. And then here, as a final touch, because I've drawn in the city, now I can put in those little branches of that tree that is just behind our, actually next to our lantern pole. And this is so much fun to do. And here I've taken the white. I used the white also at the very last moment to draw in that shine of the lantern pole up on the bridge, up on Our Lady and the umbrella. And I don't want to try this same drawing on paper black, Canson black. So, I hope maybe you can let me know if you want to see that too. Now here's the pedal, and well, I will leave it up to here. And I sure hope that you will give this drawing a try, because it is so much fun to do. If you liked this tutorial, please give it a big thumbs up. Maybe you want to check it out on Patreon, then you are very welcome indeed. And I would say, see you again next Friday.